Hello Habibis, I'm Danny and welcome to my channel. On today's episode, I'm going to teach you guys and guide you to make Egyptian koshari. It's delicious, it's yummy, it's carbohydrates, and it's the typical plate of Egypt. So come with me and I will teach you how to do koshari in a snap. I like to start with, I guess, about a 1/4 cup or maybe 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix the same amount of water. It could be as spicy as you want, as sweet as you want, but first of all we want to mix in water with lemon. The next step, and the most important, is 2 tablespoons of garlic, and you mix it in. Then I got a nice tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon of pepper, mixing it in. This is just so amazing. If you guys could smell this, oh, that nice garlic lemon smell, delicious. All right, we're going to add a teaspoon of ground coriander. I got this one, which is organic, but you can have any one that you want. Mix it in. And now here's a special ingredient, which is dark chili powder. I made it the other day and it was delicious. And then I made it for another occasion and I forgot about it and it was just missing and it was just really nasty. So this is important. Cumin. Cumin is essential. Cumin is like the most delicious smell. Now a lot of people don't like cumin, but it just gives you that smoky flavor, that delicious tang that just brings everything, especially Middle Eastern food, and it just marries it all in together. So I'm gonna have another teaspoon. You put as much as you can. You know what? Never too much cumin. And again, taste it. Take another little spoon and taste it and see. Oh yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna set this aside, and now we're gonna watch and we're gonna make the other parts. So here's the mix. Here's the nice sauce, and I like to keep it while I cook everything so that all the ingredients blend together. We're gonna start making the tomato sauce. So the tomato sauce is basically, I like to use 3 to 4 tomatoes, depending on how many people you're gonna have. And I'm going to use, which I've mixed here, I used a couple of delicious laurel leaves. I used a teaspoon to a tablespoon of red peppers, 7 Arabic spices, and it's called 7 Arabic spices, which is really amazing. I also add a little bit of allspice inside, a sprinkle of cinnamon, lots of love. I also have put here some cumin, some coriander, some garlic little powder, onion powder, and some pepper and a little bit of salt. Now this tomato paste is not your traditional Italian tomato paste, so believe it or not, I don't use Italian seasonings at all. I use the seasonings that we talked about just now. You want to always use extra virgin Italian, extra virgin olive oil. Use two of these diced organic tomato sauce things, and they're really good. They give you a nice flavor and they give you more texture for your sauce. So I'm going to use 2 of these today, and I'm also going to use the most delicious thing in the world, which is tomato paste. It's a little salty, it's strong concentrated tomato, so that's really going to give it more flavor. And I'm just going to wait until the oil gets hot. And I have here a ridiculous amount of onions. These are 3 medium onions. I might not cook it all, but again, this depends on how much onion flavor you want in your meal. Pureed them so they're gonna have a nice smoothness. I also am gonna run this after I cook everything in the blender just to make it nice and smooth. But again, this is your choice. You could do it like this, or you can just leave it natural. They're really good both ways. Okay, one thing, when you have the oil, you can just kind of smell when it's ready. So I'm just gonna take a little spoonful here. Yep. And now we're gonna lower this, because you don't want anything to overburn. You never want to overburn your your onions. The people in my life like lots of garlic, so I use 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. Garlic is always really yummy. It's healthy. It's a natural antibacterial, so it's really good and healthy to have garlic. I'm just going to higher the volume just a little bit so that the garlic also gets cooked. You want to cook the garlic. You don't want raw garlic because that's gross. Now I have mixed all my ingredients here, as you can see. And one of the things that I've learned from cooking is that you want to heat your spices right at the beginning of your mixture so that the spices also get their time to really just cook and marinate. So we're gonna mix them all in. You know, there's no right way, there's no wrong way to do this. And I know it's spicy, but I like everything sweet, so that's my little contribution. Now, one of the things that I like to do when I cook food, especially when I cook Egyptian food, I like to add a little bit of cinnamon. So I added a little bit of cinnamon. It just gives everything some nice flavor. And it sounds fun too. And the smell of garlic is so yummy. And you can hear it, you can smell it nice faint. The beauty of Egyptian cooking are those spices. You have cloves, you have a mixture of cinnamon spices in there, and it's just really yummy. You have cardamom as well, so it's just really yummy. It's a really delicious array of smells. All right, and now we're just gonna wait until it simmers, and I'm gonna close it, and I'll be on to my next project, All right, so the tomato sauce is really cooking. It's really doing well. And so I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of distilled white vinegar. That should be it. We'll blend it in. And now, since it's really simmering really well, I'm gonna put it in low heat, and I like it just to cook while I'm making the rest of the ingredients. The koshari, the part of the koshari, the rice, which is really yummy. So we're gonna start combining butter and virgin olive oil. Virgin olive oil helps to cook and helps just to give the butter and the rice more texture and more taste. I don't add any spices to the rice because everything else is so rich in spices. So we're mixing that in. I'm gonna use 3 tablespoons of garlic. You can use 2. I like it very garlicky. You can use 1, whatever you want. This is an added ingredient. A lot of people don't use it. I just like to give my my rice just a little flavor, just so that mix that in. And now this is a secret. You want to always wait until it gets to a nice brown, not burnt, but nice brown. So it's a little crunchy, and it's just like the most delicious base. I'm Spanish, so we call this a sofrito. You want to just give it a nice base for your rice. So we're just mixing this in. Let the flavors absorb. And now we're going to add some pepper. Nice fresh pepper. Not a fun sound? Yes. All right. Rice. So I would say maybe 1.5 tablespoons of salt. The trick for me is you want to make it while everything is combined, when the water is combined and all the rice. You can just taste it so you can see if you need to add more salt. I think that should be good for now. And now, since this is a vegetarian dish, I like to add this kind of vegetable bouillon, which is a really good one. I would take 2 nice, generous tablespoons of this. So you give it a nice sofrito. So if you can tell, it's still not as brown as I'd like. Again, you never want it to reach burnt, but you just want it to be a little bit crispy, a little bit well done. So we're just gonna wait. I raised the fire, and so we're just gonna watch it. You can use basmati rice, or you can use this short grain rice. I just have it in my kitchen, so I'm gonna use that. Now, the cool thing about that, see how it's found, that's nice. You know, it's cooked. Now, the nice thing about this is you can just use anything that you have in your kitchen, really. So you can use brown rice, you can use any kind of rice. You can even make it yellow rice. Rice is rice and it tastes good. So we're gonna mix it in. And I had this soaked. I had it soaked for about an hour. You can soak it for a couple of minutes, 20 minutes. Just gives it a little flavor there. So I have 2 cups of rice. So with 2 cups of rice, you need 4 cups of water. So I have 4 cups of water already here, nice and cold. And you want to mix it in because you don't want any burnt rice at all. Sounds nice. It's a nice sound. Okay, here we go. So now to this, I'm just going to add a little bit more pepper. And I'm going to cover it, and we're going to move on to the next plate, which is going to be the pasta. So as we're preparing everything else, my sauce is really ready, it's cooked, and so I'm just blending it in. So we're just going to do some blending. And I moved it to another pan just so that it would be easier for everyone else. Okay, so the water is boiling, and we're going to add our large elbow pasta, mix it in. I like to always add it in with boiling water. It's better, makes it cook faster. And let's take just a little handful of salt. This has been, these are lentils. This is actually 1 cup of lentils that have been pre-cooked in water for like an hour or so. So that's why they look so big, they look huge. So the water is boiling, and so we're gonna mix it in. You want your lentils to be nice and separate. You want them cooked, but you don't want them too mushy because they're just gonna be like a little garnish for your koshari. Same thing, just like a little tablespoon, a teaspoon of salt. Little dash of pepper. And I'm just gonna add just a little sparkle of coriander. So just a little something. That's it. And we'll wait until it gets ready, and then we'll continue. So my pasta's ready, as you can see, and now I'm just sauteing it with really yummy butter. About 3 tablespoons of butter. You can also mix olive oil, whatever you want, but definitely butter or olive oil or both. You could do a mix as well. Shake them a little bit like this, you know, mix them and just get a feel for them. My rice is almost done, as you can see. They're a little soupy, but they're good. They're still fine. You can also, to avoid any of these problems, you can always use a rice cooker. You want your lentils to look like this. Like I said, you don't want them to be mushy, so I noticed while I was doing that, it was a little too much water, so I took it out, and now they're nice, they're ready, they're good to go. So now what I did is I have soaked my garbanzo beans, which they come in small in a little bag, and I soaked them overnight, and they're cooking, and I use a tablespoon of cumin. And while I'm soaking the chickpeas, I like to put a little clove of garlic, just so it has a little flavor, because chickpeas can be a little bland, and so we're just doing that. And also I put a tablespoon of salt, so that should be doing it. The crunchy part, the yummy part of your koshari, which is, I cut these I call large Spanish onions, and you cut them in very thin slices. So I'm going to show you what to do. We're also going to add flour. So I take this. Now I just used 1 large onion, but you can also use 2. I would say just use half a cup of flour. Mix it in. You want to make sure that all of the onion is mixed. You want a nice long big pan so that the whole mixture can go together. A nice ready. So here we go. A fun sound. It smells so good. So here we go. So when you're assembling this koshari, you start with rice, then you add the macaroni, like so. Then you add the chickpeas. Lentils. Right, pause. After this, we put the sauce. Now the sauce you can put as much or as little as you want. I'm just gonna fill it like this. Again, you want to put the sauce so that you can serve the table. And then lastly, we put the fried onions. The most important part with the way we started, we're gonna add our sauce, and you can add as little or as much as you want. And that's it, your dinner is ready. Enjoy, guys. Thank you for watching.